Okay, so today I have one of the legends of downtown Chicago, who I'm also very grateful to call a good friend, Tom Caputo.
Hey, Benny. Thanks very much. I appreciate it, man. I know I always appreciate hearing from you and talking with you and you know, just getting a chance to, just bounce ideas off you. So thanks for the time.
Yeah, no problem. It's obviously you and I have known each other now for a couple of years, and uh, for the very few people on LinkedIn that may not know you,
Right.
you can just tell a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure, sure. So I just started a role as head of internal audit for a company called Old World Industries. They're out in Northbrook, and they make products, peak antifreeze, a lot of peak products, motor oils. They make a product called diesel exhaust fluid, Blue Def. So it's a nice, very nice private company. Joined them back in, actually only a month ago. But prior to that, I spent the majority of my career with Tribune, in the last 19 in charge of internal audit and compliance for them. Yeah, Tribune, as you know, has gone through lots of changes over the years. We were a public company, private company, company in bankruptcy. We had multiple acquisitions and divestitures and spin-offs, et cetera. So I've been through a lot of Tribune. So great people, great place to work. As we've talked about in the past, just really a really great experience. Tribune Media was acquired in late 2019, and so around Thanksgiving, I was in transition, and was in transition for about 7 months until I landed here at Old World Industries.
Yeah, I mean, Tribune, you guys, I say the Tribune's like the Chicago company because you were always
Yeah.
in Chicago, but it was just all the different stages, things that happened. So this role at OWI, how did you find it?
It was interesting. It really was just listed on the job boards. So I saw it there. Other folks that told me in my network had told me about it. So I didn't know anything about it. I mean, Old World Industries, I'd never heard of them before, and I didn't know whether they were making oil lamps or buggy whips, or I don't know what they were doing, right? So it was so I just kind of reached out to my network to see who knew anybody there and what they do and what kind of company they are, et cetera. So that's how I found the job. But I got to tell you, Benny, it was just, and we've talked about this a little bit too, as far as how I actually got the job.
Yeah.
The convergence of people that I've known was incredible. And it's, I think when I counted at the end, it was either 10 or 11 people that either knew me, knew Old World, or knew somebody here. And so it was pretty incredible. It started with, Jim Marshall. So Jim I'd met through Kim Stapleton, who's, as you know, is good. It was wonderful. It's amazing. And so just met Jim. Jim was, met him in January. We got to go for lunch, and then we both stayed in touch. And he was having a networking call with a guy named Brett Roush from Wells Fargo, and no reason whatsoever needed to mention internal audit, but he did. He asked if he knew of any internal audit openings because Jim was looking for a chief operating officer type job. And Brett's like, yeah, I know of one. So he introduced me to Brett. Brett tells me about the opportunity, and we talk a little bit. He says, yeah, I'm glad to get your resume in front of the CFO. And then kind of off to the races there. I got an interview with HR. They mentioned Baker Tilly. I'm like, I know folks from Baker Tilly, so with you and Krista, and then Krista reintroduced me to Chris Jeffries, who I'd met a year ago, and we talked, and he's the partner on the engagement, helping here. And there was, oh my gosh, who else? My daughter's accounting professor at Northwestern for a graduate degree program. I used to work with him 25 years ago at a company called McMaster Car Supply. So we reconnected, and we were just kind of checking in. And he's like, "Oh yeah, the CFO there. I sold him my house like 8 years ago, and his wife and my sister-in-law are best friends and stuff." And it just kept on going. This woman I used to work with at Tribune 20 years ago. She ended up being the interim HR person for Old World for a little while last summer. So I reached out to her. So just this, and then the most amazing one was my friend Travis Hayer, he was a CAE for a local company, and they outsourced this whole department, and we were both staying in contact with one another about jobs. He calls me the day after my first interview and says, "Hey, have you ever heard of Old World Industries?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually just interviewed with them yesterday." And he said, "So did I. I'm a little bit further ahead, and hey, let's. I'm going to drop out because I found another job." He goes, "I want to recommend you." So it's just all these people who had, that I'd met over time and built relationships with that they weren't even remotely connected. It just all kind of converged on this job. So not only did it make me feel better about the job, because I knew a lot of people who knew Old World, but I'm assuming that it helped them with their decision to hire me, because there's a lot of people who they were able to go out to and talk to about me. So
Yeah,
it was a really interesting experience.
that's why I always say that, I give you the nickname, the Godfather of Chicago, the amount of people that kind of went into it. But, you mentioned, I mean, Kim's awesome. She's great.
Yes.
And Jim Marshall, Jim is Kim has introduced Jim to me, and he's a giver. Like, he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
He's connected me with a bunch of good people too. But I think that's where the power of relationships and networking really comes in. And I've told you this before, I hate that word networking, but
right.
having really good relationships is so important, especially when you're in the middle of a global pandemic, within a recession, and you're looking for a new job, or you're looking for a job for that matter. So, Tom, when you were in transition since like the holidays, the end of last year,
right,
you never expected COVID to happen, because I know you and I talk like once every other week, and you never expected for that. And then I remember talking when all this stuff first happened, and I know the feeling was a lot of fear and nervousness. But talk a little bit about how you felt, man, with being on, being in transition after working for a company for over 18, 19 years.
Oh, I was here 26 years at Tribune.
26 years. Okay. And how it felt.
Honestly, Benny, it was scary. I was scared, it's, you had, the leads just kind of dropped off, in March, when COVID hit and people were working, started to work from home, were told to work from home. Leads dropped off, all the networking activity, those things were being canceled, FEI and other places like that. And then, the market was starting to flood with more people as there were layoffs, and so the competition was getting even more fierce than it was before. So it was, when I sat there at first, I'm like, man, this could go a long time. This is really going to impact my search. And I was worried, like, I only have so much severance. How long is that going to last? And I'm like, well, do I sell everything and buy an RV and just go, try, just live out of there or something? I don't know. It was a little daunting at first, but I got to tell you, like you said, the relationships, I was just very fortunate that I built a lot of good relationships prior to COVID, was able to leverage those, because honestly, it's more efficient, and it is easier to connect with people virtually, because you don't have to go, you don't have to go to Starbucks every 3 hours and go grab coffee, and or not driving around all the time. So you can be more efficient and meet more folks, and maybe spend a little more time, because you're on the phone or on Zoom or whatever. So, but no, it was scary at first, but like I said, it's things started to, as I got into it some more, I was very grateful for the connections I had, and try to leverage those.
Got it. No, I think one of the most important things to do during this pandemic, with everything going on, is continue to communicate and talk to those people that you already have relationships with. And I think, one of the things I really want people to understand is, like, I don't want people to give up hope right now with what's going on, because if there's any time that I could think of in history where we have to make sure that we don't lose hope no matter what's happening around us, is right now. And I know there's a lot of people that are feeling scared, that are feeling nervous, that are anxious right now, and it's completely understandable.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I think, people need to, not lose hope, be patient, because you need to stay, like anything, stay calm. Anytime something happens, I always told myself, I think I read this somewhere, it's not, you're not being rejected, you're being redirected. So I think those are good things to keep in mind, because these things can impact your self-confidence, but you just have to, just like I said, be patient and keep doing the things you're doing, work your the relationships that you have. And look, my faith helped me a lot as well, right? It's like I figured God took care of me for the first, 50 or so years, and I didn't think He was just going to tap out on me at the last minute. So you just have to trust in yourself, you have faith and be patient, and don't panic, because there's times of famine, times of feast, as we all know with these jobs. I also think you need to maybe explore some other opportunities too. I had as I looked at some business development roles, and so I think if you open up your vector a little bit of things you're open to, you'll get more activity, and all that activity will keep you positive during this time.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your time, man. Congrats again on the new job. And
yeah, thanks.
extremely happy for you. Like I said, Godfather of Chicago.
Well, I'll try to give you my protection.